right, Tom. So here,
Yeah.
you are not going to remember this. I almost guarantee it, but maybe you will. I certainly hope not. I have never talked to you about this before, but see, when I was trying to break in early on, some friends and I went to conventions together, World Fantasy and Worldcon. We go to them and we try to meet editors and ask for advice and things like this. And back then, I was brand new at this. I didn't know the difference between editor and publisher. And for you guys, Tom Doherty is the publisher. He actually does read all the books, but he doesn't acquire the books. The editors acquire the books, and Tom kind of gives them the thumbs up and stuff. And so we're at this convention, and we actually cornered you. You're like the nicest guy in the world, and we didn't know. It's like we're cornering the president of the company. We're just like, hey, he's with Tor, and so we actually cornered you and said, we're new writers. How do we get published? You actually sat there and chatted with us for a good 5-10 minutes about getting published and things like that, and said, now go find our editors. Talking to me doesn't do you much good, but I bet you don't remember that. It was probably World Fantasy in Texas somewhere or something like that, back in early 2000s.
Oh, God, I don't. I'm embarrassed to say
No,
that.
why would you? I'm sure you get just accosted at these things by all these fans, but it just stood out to me. Like afterward, I told an editor I'd done that, and they're like, you what? You leave Tom Doherty alone. Come talk to us.
I wanted to say something about this. This is, I think, an amazing start to something which could be, for the broad general public, the next big fantasy epic. Right now we've got maybe, of course, with my personal prejudice, the Wheel of Time is number one.
Right. I'd happily take number 2 to the Wheel of Time. I'm very secure in accepting that position.
But, I also like George Martin. But here, I think this could be the next one. In the first book, in this, I really love some of the characters. I thought, Dalinar was so impressive and so special and just right for what he was supposed to be. I love Kaladin. I got a new favorite. It's Shallan.
In book 2, she really shines.
She does.
Yeah. The fun thing about that is this is the first time, this book, that I specifically asked for readers, because I love the audiobook readers on the Wheel of Time so much, particularly because the cast they can do with so many different characters, and Michael Kramer and Kate Redding, and they're awesome. If you guys haven't heard these, the way they change voices for the characters is amazing, and they'll come up with a new voice. Like they can do literally thousands of voices. And when it came around, we were doing the audiobook and we were doing the deal, and Tom's like, I want to buy the audiobook rights too. I'm like, if you'll get me Michael and Kate, I'll give you the audiobook rights, and you did. And so you guys are just fantastic. You really like this audiobook if you listen to it.
I love audiobooks because I've got a place out in the country and good traffic. It's 2.5 hours, and sometimes on a Friday afternoon in the summer going out to the east end of Long Island, it's 5 hours.
Right.
But if I've got something like this, I don't notice. Otherwise I go crazy.
People praise me on the audiobooks. I didn't have a lot to do with it. It is overwhelmingly positive. In fact, people really like Michael and Kate, and they come to me and they'll say things like, I don't know if you know it, but you got the best audio readers in the business. I'm like, yes, I do know it. That's how it happened, is I asked for them. But I get a lot of feedback. The biggest piece of feedback for those who might be watching that are audiobook fans is we included a lot of artwork in The Way of Kings, and that doesn't translate as well to the audio. So we did post that all on my website, completely in high definition resolution. So while you're reading or listening to the audiobook, you can go grab those and download them and have them as you're listening, so you can get all the artwork too. It's there.
You've said that all your books exist in the same universe.
They do, yeah.
And I've also, many people agree that you're great at creating unique systems of magic.
Yeah, that's one of my deals. Yeah. It is.
And it makes you wonder, how are you going to bring it all together? How will they all
It will come
coexist
together. Eventually it's going to coexist. I've got this grand master plan. See, what was going on? Early in my career, I was told you should really write standalone books. if you want to get published, because you'll send one of those to the editor, and they'll be like, if they say, I like this, but I don't like it quite enough to publish it, but if you've got something else, I'll look at it. You can't really send them book 2. But you can send him book 1 of something else or another standalone. But I grew up reading Robert Jordan. I wanted to do a big epic. Sure. And so what I started doing is I started writing these standalones where behind the scenes there were characters that were moving between them, but you didn't know that, and they looked all like, so I could have my cake and eat it too. Yeah. I could be doing these standalones. And I created this kind of grand master plan where eventually I was going to start bringing these together, and you would see the different magic systems interact with one another in interesting ways. And so I've got all these little cogs moving behind the scenes. I don't like to talk about that too much, though, because I don't want to scare people off. When you pick up The Way of Kings, you don't need to know all of that. You can read the whole series, and all of it, it's Easter eggs. It's for fun for fans, if you like that sort of stuff, to pick it out. But you don't have to be like, oh, I can't read A Way of Kings because I haven't read Elantris. That's not how it is at all. Yeah. I don't want that to overwhelm any of the books until I get to the point where I'll be very upfront with people and I'll say, now they're all coming together, so be scared. And then I will do that series.